Are you struggling with getting under the bar when doing hip thrusters or glute bridges? Yeah, me too. It sucks, right? Try getting out of the bar instead. Ooh-wee.
What's up guys, welcome to Barrookie. In today's video I want to talk about the setup for glute bridges, aka hip thrusters, in order to do them better and in order to make it easier to do them. So the thing about exercises for me is if it's a hassle to get into, I typically am not going to do them at all. So in today's video I want to share with you how we can optimize the setup in order to do glute bridges so that we can actually perform the exercise as we should. The glute bridge exercise is very good, especially if you're squatting a lot, to get that glute and hamstring activation and to really work on that posterior chain and to really isolate everything. So I think that exercise is really something that should be in everybody's exercise repertoire. Now, in this video, I'm not really going to talk about the difference between glute bridges and hip thrusters. We're going to consider them as being equal, but know that glute bridges are really with your back laying on the floor and hip thrusters is with your back on a bench. As it comes to loading the bar and getting into the exercise, for both, it's almost the same hassle. Now, an easy way to get around that, and if you still need to buy some plates, is to go with bumper plates, because I have calibrated plates here and they change in size of diameter the smaller you go. So if you still need to buy some plates, I recommend you go with bumper plates, because then you have the big size diameter even for the smaller plates. So that is pretty awesome. The only downside of such a big plate is that if you need to do deadlifts, you always need to use a deadlift jack in order to slam those puppies on there. So it has its pros and it has its cons to having big plates. As it comes to getting under the bar, what I recommend is to use the equipment that you have around. Typically, if you're doing hip thrusters or glute bridges, you're also going to do squats. So that means that you probably are going to have a power rack. So I recommend to really use that power rack to your advantage. We are going to use Jacobs, but I also want to explore the option of using the safeties. Here I have my Jacobs set at the lowest setting so that they won't interfere with the movement of the barbell. So the first thing that I want to do before we dive into the hip thrusters is padding. So this is the padding that we typically use. So we just shove it under here and try to protect ourselves, but this sometimes gets out. So we opted for this here. It is called the pussy pad. This should come with a warning that you shouldn't squat with this. Put it on like this, and then we're going to place the bench here. So I am using a lighter bench because it's easier to move the bench around rather than to move the whole setup. Boom, grab the bar, pull it tight against us, and there we go up. And because we come a little bit forward when we do the exercise, this shouldn't interfere with the Jacobs. Boom. 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 Then in order to get back, we creep a little bit back. Boom, set the bar into place. Now the only problem that I see with this setup is to get out of it. Or if you're already here, what you can do is you can push the bench back and then try to get under here like so. So that's why I think this option is not ideal. So let's explore the safety. So the problem that I see is that with the safeties, the bar is going to be a little bit higher than with the Jacobs. And that's mainly due to the configuration of this rack. Now if you look at the Jacob, if I match it around here, you see we get about 10 centimeters deeper. So I think this is going to be a problem if we're going to really do our hip thrusters. But let's find out. So we take our bar. The advantage I see here is that we can roll the bar into place. So You can put the bar here, put your bench closer, boom, go underneath it, roll the bar closer to you, and then you can start and do your hip thrusters. So if you're only doing partial range of motion, like so, I think this is the better option. I would really personally want these to be a little bit lower so I can get a little bit more range of motion out of this exercise. I really like the fact of the safeties that you have the opportunity to roll it out and roll it back in. So if you really want to do hip thrusters, I think having the safeties just at the right height is going to be perfect for this scenario. This is nice, but you still get that V and you can't really push the bar out as easily because it wants to return to its place. So you can do this, but then it wants to return, and especially if you have heavier weights, they're going to return even faster and better. If you have a rack that goes a little bit lower, and I think the Rogue racks will actually have their hole placement a little bit lower, then you're perfect. Use your power rack, don't struggle too much on the floor or with your small plates. Use your rack for what it's built. It's built to get your bar onto your body, so use that. And I think that is really the takeaway of this video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. I hope you got something out of it, and let me know in the comments down below what your hacks are in order to get under the bar for your hip thrusters or your glute bridges. Yeah, I guess I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Bye!